Story Corner, presented by Jennifer. Straight to the point. Detective Susan Conrad and Bobby Johnson walked into the break room of the town library, where a small man's body lay slumped over a table, a pencil embedded in his narrow neck. "Whoever did this sure knew the spot to hit," Conrad observed. "Or it could have been dumb luck," Johnson replied. "Want to fill us in?" Conrad said to Kate Duncan, the head librarian. "Tony was our accountant. I found him when I came back here for lunch." She shook her head at the scene before her. "I knew Tony, the troublemaker, would come to a bad end one day." "Nickname?" "Unfortunate. I know, but he brought it on himself." Kate wrung her hands. "As a matter of fact, he just had a fight today with one of our regulars. Dorothy had overdue fees, and they got into it. I hired him because he's good with numbers, but his bedside manner—" "What did you do after you found him?" Conrad asked. "I called 911 and told our patrons to wait in the conference room, then locked the front door so nobody could wander in." Did you tell anybody what happened?" Johnson said. "Not a word. Just said that Tony had died." She smiled. "I wanted to be a good eyewitness for you." Kate led the detectives to the conference room, where 3 people waited at the table. Doug Shepard sat reading a magazine called Amazing Anatomy. "Is this going to take long?" "We'll try to make it quick as possible," Conrad assured. "Did you know Tony?" Doug smirked. "As a matter of fact, I did. He called my girlfriend last night." Doug spat. The creep thought he had an actual shot with her. Were you in the library when Kate wrangled everyone up to wait for help?" "I was looking at the DVDs. I'm a sucker for old romance comedies," he said drawly. "Did you see anything or anyone suspicious while you were browsing?" "Thing there?" Doug nodded at the brunette doing a crossword to his right. "You mean aside from Tony's fight with Dorothy? No, nothing out of the ordinary." Dorothy's pen stopped in midair. "It's no big deal, Doug," she said through gritted teeth. Conrad smiled at Dorothy. "I never had the confidence to do those things in ink." Dorothy sighed. "I don't either normally, but I'm trying to steer clear of pencils for obvious reasons." "Of course. And where were you when Kate gathered you all?" "In the cookbook section, I think," she sighed. "I can't exactly remember. I was a bit frazzled after my conversation with Tony." "What was the fight about?" "It wasn't a fight," she asserted. "Not really. The overdue fine he gave me was $300 more than he said it would be. I need to pay my rent this week, too, but Tony said if I didn't pay it right away, I'd have to tell it to a judge." "That sounds pretty lofty for some overdue books," Conrad said sympathetically. Dorothy met Conrad's eyes and waved the whole thing off. "I'm sure it would have all worked out." She lifted her chin to the third person at the table. "There's a rumor that Ellen was dating him, if that helps at all." Ellen stared coldly at Dorothy before she turned her attention to Conrad. "I wouldn't date that weasel if you paid me," she exclaimed. Sounds like somebody's got their heart broken," Doug said in a sing-song voice. "At least that means that she had one," Dorothy mumbled, turning back to her crossword. Conrad and Johnson stepped aside. Johnson's brow furrowed and said, "They all had motives. Means, motive, and opportunity." Conrad took a moment. With a sure nod, she said, "But only one of our suspects is lying." Dorothy was the killer. Kate told everyone that Tony had died, but she's never said how. Only the person who murdered him would have known he was stabbed with a pencil. After some pressing, Dorothy admitted that after the fight, the two had scuffled, and she stabbed him with the pencil.